Hey guys, welcome to episode number 88 of OG Toys. I'm OG. Look what we have here. We got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They have finally made their huge comeback to the toy world, animation world, the world. They're coming back. What we got here is a classic collection of 6-inch figures for the sophisticated collectors. Very nicely done. Now, of course, missing is Donatello. I have not been able to locate a Donatello yet. I will add him to the collection and do a review on him, of course. But right now, I just want to focus on each individual turtle and just give you some perspective on these guys. Turtles, I think, have been part of pretty much any kid from the 80s action figure collection. They were a huge part of my collection growing up as a kid. I loved the TV show. They're iconic. They've been around forever. I loved Leonardo, was my absolute favorite with the blue, the swords. And in fact, I started reading the comics before the show even came out. Mirage Studios with Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, I believe was his name, really brought the indie comic to the forefront, and they produced some amazing comic book stories, some really interesting adventures. It really sparked my imagination and really got me involved into drawing and storytelling and the stuff that I do now. So it's really cool to see these guys coming back in this really captured look from the animated series. And these do capture the look of the animated series perfectly. And remember, the animated series, the introduction was always my favorite part. It was freaking awesome, had the best animation, and these guys look like they stepped out of that intro, and hey, they're right here for you guys to take a look at. So, we're going to start things off with Leonardo as the first turtle, we're going to take a look at. So we'll move these guys out of the way. Now, Leonardo, like I said, is my favorite turtle. I love the blue, I love the ninja swords, the katanas, and this figure is absolutely phenomenal. Now, he stands 6 inches tall, highly articulated. You know, we wouldn't, I don't think these guys would really make it if they just came out with the articulation they had in the old days. They had the cut shoulders, cut legs, they had maybe 5-6 points of articulation. Now, you're looking at almost 34 points of articulation on this guy. Now, he does come with this very cool stand. It's got the classic Ninja Turtles logo there, Leonardo's name, 2 pegs here for the feet, and it's really nicely designed. Very cool. Now let's get to look at the figure here. Now the sculpting on the figure, like I said, it pops. It looks just like the classic versions from the cartoon. They did a phenomenal job capturing that stylized look. And the articulation is not hindered whatsoever. He does have an amazing amount of articulation, but he's very simplistic too. One of the things I noticed that, you know, he doesn't have a lot of paint apps, but what he does have is some really good sculpting, articulation, and I think these guys just bring out a lot of fun, which I think is sometimes lacking in some of the action figures that have been coming out for the past few years. This is just a fun figure. You want to play around with it. You know, want to relive some of the old days when you were a kid watching the TV show. Or if you're new to the action figure biz and you've never seen Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I'm sure it's on some of your retro cartoon channels here in Canada. It's on Teletoon Retro. It's fun to watch and kind of reminisce on the old days and kind of see how crappy the animation was back then. And, you know, it's still a fun show to watch. So you can see he has really nice stylized accessories. He's got the 2 katana blades and the holsters here, and this does pop off as well. The blades themselves, I think, just a little bit short for my liking. I wish they were just a little bit longer. But at least they have the painted hilts, which is nice. And you got a little bit of detailing there with that little bit of a line work right there, which is sculpted right into the sword. So that's cool. Now the figure itself, lots of articulation. That's one of the big selling points on these figures, and it has 34 points of articulation. So let's take a look at some of the basic articulation that this guy has. You know, he has the ball jointed head, doesn't go down too far, but up, and of course the 360. He has ball jointed shoulders, a cut at the biceps, double jointed elbows, articulated hands. That is really cool, and I'd love to see that on some other figures too, but maybe in the future, Marvel Legends. But the articulated hands is really cool. I think it looks just awesome. You have an articulated ball jointed chest. So you got a ball socket there, which is cool that it's not like his back portion here is the lower torso isn't attached to the turtle shell. So it does have a free range of movement. So that's cool. You also have no waist articulation to speak of, really. You just have that ball jointed chest. You have full ball jointed hips there. You have a cut at the leg as well. You have double jointed knees, articulation in the ankle, and it's pretty cool. You have articulated toes as well. So this guy is just pimped out with articulation, and it just, man, it just looks awesome. The swords, you can put them in his hands. And what I like, you can just open that up and just close down those little digits, those little fingers. And you can put them in there. There you go. So Ninja Turtles, man, this figure, absolutely amazing. I'm shocked to see how good this figure is, and that he came out. Like, they have been released in Canada for a little while. Every time I go to a Toys R Us to try and find one, they've been sold out. Their website's sold out, and it's see why. This is a freaking awesome figure. Now, he does have really no issues, like no problems that I can see right now. You know, the figure stands well. He's super articulated. He's got nice tight joints. He looks phenomenal. And he has a really good weight to it. I know it might sound weird, but he feels like, you know, I paid $21 a figure here in Canada at Toys R Us. And, you know, he's worth the money. I can say that honestly. He doesn't feel like a cheap figure. He feels substantial. And he feels like you got a solid piece of plastic here and some really nice sculpting. And, of course, that nostalgia factor that plays into a lot of the kids from the 80s like myself that used to worship these freaking Ninja Turtles. So, speaking of the 80s, I just wanted to show some other characters and how they compare. And what really kind of stood out when I got this figure was the bulk of the figure and the good weight it had. It's a solid figure, just like this guy here. This is King Grayskull from the Masters of the Universe Classic line. This is one of the only characters I have besides Stratos. And he's just an awesome figure, and he has that really good weight to it, which I love. You get, you know, this figure cost me almost $30, and it's solid weight, beautiful articulation, sculpt, it's fantastic. Another figure that I thought would be cool to put up with these 80s saddle guys is Lion-O from the Thundercats. Now, this is from the Bandai relaunch. This is the Classics version. This is the 8-inch version. And again, another really solid figure. It's cool to see, you know, three of my favorite properties. I love Thundercats, Turtles, and Masters of the Universe together. And, you know, there's a bit of a height difference, which is cool. Like, He-Man is taller than a Ninja Turtle, and of course, Lion-O's taller than everybody. But it just looks cool that you can actually have these figures on the same shelf, and they look good together. So that's pretty darn cool. So there you go, guys. This is the first review of the Ninja Turtles. We took a look at Leonardo from the Classics collection. If you can find this guy, definitely pick it up. You're not going to be disappointed. It is a bit more expensive. The new figures that just came out, the TMNT guys, haven't seen the freaking Turtles anywhere here in Canada. We've seen the Shredder, Foot Soldier, Splinter, and April. They're okay, but I'm dying to see these Turtles. Every time I go to any store here, like Toys R Us or even Walmart, there is no Turtles anywhere. Hopefully I'll find those Turtles, because I'm pretty curious to see what they look like firsthand. And if they're good, we'll definitely review them. I've seen some reviews online. They look pretty cool. But these are the guys that I really wanted to get, the classic versions. And they look phenomenal. So there you go, guys. Happy hunting. Find these guys if you can and definitely pick them up. You're not going to be disappointed. Thank you so much for watching. And stay tuned for more reviews coming soon. Take it easy.